Welcome back to the show, guys. Today we are talking about 3 roadblocks for new travel advisors, how to identify them, how to avoid them. If that sounds like fun, keep on watching. That's what we're doing on the channel today. All right, guys, don't forget to take a moment, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell over on YouTube. We bring you amazing content to teach you how to grow your travel businesses every single week, and I don't want you to miss a thing. And look, today is a hot topic, and I get it. You paid someone out there on the internet to turn on some travel advisor credentials. They say you're a travel advisor now, and now you've been left to your own devices to figure out, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? So we're going to dive into it today. If you're new here, type a little "I'm new" in comments. I'd love to welcome you to our community. If you are new, you might not know who I am. My name is Cyndi Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Wanderlust Campus. We teach people just like you how to launch, grow, and scale travel businesses all over the world. You can find all of our information at travelschool.com. If you're in that learning phase, and we have a bunch of free resources over there, so go check that out. But on today's video, we're really going to be talking about, man, what are those first 3 roadblocks that you run into? I see this happen every single day in our world, right? Training in the industry. So I get it. That first one is normally, how do I set up my business properly so I'm protected, so I have the least amount of exposure? What type of business do I need to have? What setup do I want to have? So I want to tell you, just take a deep breath. I'm going to walk you through the roadblock and a couple of tangible steps that you can do on each of these. So look, first one, you got to figure out your goals and how you want to run your business, what your vision for your business is, before you get all of these people in your head saying, this is the only way to do it, our ways to do it, here's how you should do it. The reality is there's multiple ways to get into the industry, and not all of them are going to be right for you and your goals. So making sure that you take a beat, take a moment, really get clear, because clarity is power, on what you want your travel business to look like, what your vision is, how you want to serve the world. Those are very important questions to answer for yourself before you get into solution finding phase. And listen, don't give yourself a bad time if you've already signed up with something and you're like, oh no, I'm in over my head. I didn't realize what I was doing. Maybe you picked a bad setup. Maybe you picked a good setup, but realized the support's not there. There's all different places where you can be kind of on the map where this is concerned, but it does no good to give yourself a hard time. Wherever you are right now, stop and answer those questions for yourself. Because if you do need to back up and adjust, it's way better to do it towards the beginning of your journey. And if you're brand new, definitely grab our free masterclass. I'll link that down below. The masterclass will really teach you how this industry works. It'll outline, here are all the different ways to get into the industry. So you then can decide what, after you do that goal and fact finding session with yourself, you can decide what's going to be best for me and match yourself appropriately. There are a few wrong answers that you want to avoid, pitfalls and things like that. That masterclass covers that as well. But there are multiple options that probably could work for you. So you just want to make sure whatever your goals are and whatever setup process, that they are in alignment with your short and long-term goals. It's very, very important. All right. The second big roadblock that I see new agents run into is that they have an identity crisis. Like, oh, what should I sell? What do I want to sell? Do those things go together? Is there going to be enough profit? How do I align this new travel business thing to make it a profitable venture? And can I do it with selling just this one niche that I love? Or do I need to sell a bunch of niches? Or if I'm selling something that only has seasonality in the summer, how am I going to get cash flow the rest of the year? And trying to figure out how to put your identity together, right? And it goes beyond that whole first step of figuring out what you're going to sell, what niches you want to sell. Those are important questions to answer as well. But then you have to layer in, who do you want to serve? What types of clients do you want to attract? And once you can figure those little pieces out, then you can figure out your branding identity, your company's identity, how you want to brand yourself, how you want to brand your company, how you want to share the messaging on how you serve the world and how you're going to help those clients get to the vacations, the type of vacations that you're going to specialize in booking. So it can be a little overwhelming at the beginning to figure out, okay, I want to sell this, I want to do this, I want to reach these clients. Now, how do I craft and curate a brand that's going to look amazing? It's going to speak to the type of clients that I want to sell to. What does that process look like? So I call it kind of, working past this identity crisis. Again, you have to do some Q&A with yourself. So who do you want to serve? Who do you want to reach? And also, who are you in the world, right? Like, what authenticity is the new sales? So how are you going to incorporate either your persona, or maybe you're not going to incorporate your persona, that's okay too. But then what does your business say in the world of marketing? So understanding that there really is an identity that you have to start to develop when you are building a business. In Wanderlust Campus, we walk our students through how to create brand standards, how to go through that process of creating a logo, picking a color palette that really resonates with the type of things that they want to sell and the clients that they want to reach, even right down to the types of font that you use and the different fonts that you use for headlines versus your messaging. And then when we get to messaging, what is the voice you are going to speak in? So there's, again, and I get it, you've probably never marketed a day in your life and you're like, Cyndi, what are you talking about? You're speaking a different language to me right now. It's okay. This is why it's a roadblock, because it feels like a lot if you've never been in that marketing world. And look, it took me a decade to get my companies where I wanted them to get branding wise. I made a ton of mistakes. So it's all about allowing yourself to fail forward in this process, especially if you're trying to do it on your own. But you really want to answer those questions first. Who do I want to reach? What type of travel company do I want to be? Do I want to be more luxury? Do I want to be more family friendly? Do I want to, just kind of answering those questions on where do you want to fit in that marketing landscape? So that's how you will start that process. And then you want to create brand standards for your company, everything from how your logo looks to your colors, your palette, your fonts, how all of those marketing assets are going to tie together. And then you will start to develop your marketing voice. So those are a couple tips to help you get past that roadblock if you're having an identity crisis. That will help for sure. Now, the biggest roadblock I see in our industry all the time, and this is a loaded one. Like, there's probably 6 different categories I have under this one roadblock, but it is training. A lot of new advisors do not realize that even if you are working as a contractor for a larger agency or a parent agency or a host agency, in those scenarios, you are a contractor. What that means is they cannot give you training. They're technically not even allowed to use the word training when they talk about offerings for you. They're supposed to say educational offerings. And the reason for that is you're not an employee. So there's very specific guidelines on what they can do for you or make available to you and what they cannot. They cannot have a formal training program. They cannot have an ABC 1, 2, 3, here's how you do the things, because that would make you kind of crossing the line into that employee territory, right? And this is why this is such a roadblock in our industry. In fact, I just went to a conference last month, and it had all of the top hosts there, all these hosts that have thousands and thousands of agents, and it had some mid-sized hosts as well, had travel suppliers there. And again, all weekend long as we went through this conference, everyone was talking about, we can't train, but everyone needs training. They don't know what they're doing, but we can't train them. Like, at every level, from onboarding to marketing to systems to working with clients to legal to all these different categories that you are responsible for really preparing yourself for the industry. But your hosts, it's not that they're bad, they're just their hands are tied a little bit, so they can't give you that formal training, right? That's the kind of stuff we do at Wanderlust Campus in full transparency. But let me walk you through the categories so you at least have an idea on exactly what you need to be doing and preparing for as a new advisor and why it's such a roadblock. Because I know you turned on those credentials, and then you realize, oh, wait a second. I'm the business startup department, I'm the legal department, I'm the accounting department, I'm the marketing department, I'm the sales and the service department. You're in charge of all of that for your little new travel business, right? Nobody's going to give you a handbook on exactly how to do these things unless you figure it out. So it is your job to figure it out. So let's figure out how we're going to get past this roadblock of training. Here's the things you need to get training on. Industry fundamentals. This is like a no-brainer. This is all of like history of the agency, ethics in the industry, all of the different A's and B's, 1, 2, 3s, like basic information, how airport hubs work, why city codes were developed, and how the ones that you should memorize because they're the top city codes, how you're going to work with different systems in the industry, kind of that fundamental language that we all speak in the industry. That's kind of like a very, very base level. Number 2 is how to properly run your business. This is a tricky one. Hosts and agency owners also cannot really give you too many recommendations on this. You have to figure out how to set up your business and run it accordingly. So you need to make sure you have training on how to actually set up a business. 3 is tech stack. This used to be a really easy one in our industry because there were only 2 or 3 options. In today's day and age where there's all these automations and AI and all of these different options that you can now create to make your perfect tech stack, which when it's done, makes your business run smooth. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of automation and workflows, and anywhere I can lean on technology to do the work that humans were doing so I can have more personal time, I can make more videos for you guys, all the things. I'm all about technology, right? But when you are new and you still don't really fully understand the industry and technology isn't everybody's strong suit, it can be hard to tie those pieces together. But understand you are going to have to leverage technology at the simplest level. How are you going to track your client's status? What CRM, customer relationship management system, are you going to use? And then you get into bigger things like how am I going to handle my marketing lead flow and things like that. There's different technologies you can put together for those things. How are you going to deliver your legal forms? There's technology you can use for those things. So information and training on developing your tech stack is number 3. Number 4, and it's crazy we haven't talked about this yet, but you need to know how to do your job, right? You need to know how to actually be a travel advisor. I know it's shocking. No one actually teaches you this when you just sign up and ta-da, you can start saying I'm a travel advisor now. It's very misleading. And then you find out, oh my gosh, no one's actually going to show me how to book. So at Wanderlust campus, we have something called a booking academy. But if you don't have the luxury of the booking academy at your fingertips, you're going to have to figure out all of the things you need to do to book the different types of things. And I will tell you, there are hundreds of different booking systems in the travel industry. Now, you don't have to learn all of them. The beauty is you can niche down and decide which suppliers you're going to work with. So you can reduce that significantly in terms of the numbers that you need to learn, but you still have to go through the process of how do you book when I work with this supplier, and how do I work when I book with this supplier. It can be different from supplier to supplier. The next thing that's really important is researching and understanding your niches. So what are the destinations you're going to sell? And maybe if you've been a place 100 times, you may know some of these things already, and that's fantastic. But if you're wanting to layer in, maybe you want to do all-inclusives and you haven't been to every island in the Caribbean or every area in Mexico that offers all-inclusives, you have to spend the time to research your niche, understand the geography. Is there seasonality involved in your particular niche? What are the top things to do? And then last but not least, what travel suppliers are available? What product do you need to learn? Everything from modes of transportation to get there, tours and activities while they're there, resorts and hotels, cars, transfers, the list goes on and on. But what is the product available to sell that's commissionable for you to work as a travel advisor and match your clients with? It's fun training, right? But it's still a lot that you're going to have to learn. Now, you can building block it from year to year. What I recommend is start with your couple of core niches and then build on, but just make sure you're learning all of those different categories of things as well. Now, the last, there's 2 last things. The next one is, as far as training, systems. And this is a big one. When you start to run your business, you have your first few clients, it doesn't feel like as big of a deal. But once you start growing, and or maybe you're not growing and you can't figure out why you're not growing, there's a few systems that are really important to have in your business. One is you need to have a marketing system. You should have a marketing machine. If you do not have leads coming in every single day to your business that are not your friends and family, okay, those don't count because they already know you. But if you don't have leads coming in every single day, you're really running a hobby and not a business. So you have to figure out, what marketing system do I need to have in place to really start to get more business flowing in, so you then can pick those best leads to work with, you can match and get those ideal clients and start booking more so you can earn more profit. So a good marketing system. Now, once you have clients, you're going to need a good sales system, you're going to need a good service system, and also your automations and workflows. Everything from how do they book that initial appointment with you, and then once they book the vacation, what are the automations that are happening leading up to their trip, while they're on their trip, when they get home from their trip, and then when they get into that stage of being a recurring client, what is the technology doing for you to make sure that you're keeping them as a kind of warm lead in your system. These are all, I know this is overwhelming if you're new to the industry. That's why it's a roadblock, and we're talking about how you get through it today, right? These are big things you guys need to learn. And I know if you're new and you just kind of got into being a travel advisor with a little bit of that naivete, it can be tough, right? So with new travel advisors, I really recommend, if you're stuck in one of these roadblocks and you're having a tough time, it's okay. Just go through this list one by one, figure it out. And then last but not least, make sure you have legal forms in place. This didn't used to be as important as it was even 8 to 10 years ago, because client relationships were really one-on-one. But after all the craziness with the pandemic and things that happened, everybody should be legally protecting their business, everything from credit card authorization forms, insurance denial forms, all those things that you really need to make sure that you're protecting yourself from things that could happen in the industry as well. All right, so I know that was a lot to absorb, and I give you a lot of credit for making it this far in the video. That means you are serious about becoming a travel advisor, and I'm very proud of you for that. So there's a couple of things you can do right now. You can, one, spend the next 5 years figuring out how to piecemeal DIY, read 8,000 forums online, and hopefully get good advice from people, or watch 8 bazillion YouTube videos to try to piece this stuff together. But the reality is, our industry is very, very complicated. And our industry also has this huge issue of not being able to actually train new advisors, and that is why Wanderlust Campus exists. So if you're in that place where you're like, Cyndi, I loved outlining this information, this was very helpful, but I know I need a little bit more help. I need that exact roadmap. I don't want to waste 5 years trying to figure all this out. I would rather just get to the fun part of my job, which is booking trips and earning money and doing all the things, traveling, doing all the things I want to do. That's where I recommend you guys just reach out to us at Careers on Vacation. So at Wanderlust Campus, the Careers on Vacation program, this is the program that has hundreds and hundreds of 5-star rankings out in the internet. We have hundreds and hundreds of case studies. This is a 12-week intensive course where we are teaching you everything that you need to know, everything that we covered today: how to be a travel agent, how to run your business, how to book and sell your actual niches, all of those systems, your marketing system, your sales system, your service system, the automations. All of that is taught not by an e-learning program. Yes, you have access to some e-learning and the Booking Academy that I referenced earlier. The magic of our program is you work with real people like you're seeing on screen right now. And this is the big difference with Wanderlust Campus. You guys are working with our staff, and this is why we have more 5-star reviews and more case studies than any other educational program out there in the travel industry, because all we do is education. So if you know that you need that piece and you just want to connect the dots, we'd love to talk to you. You can reach out to us at careersonvacation.com/readynow. If you want to just have a quick 30-minute call with one of our success coaches, we'll walk through what are your goals. Remember at the beginning of the call, I said, make sure you're getting clarity on what are your goals, What's your vision for the business? That's really what that session is to understand. And if it is a match to work with us, we will talk to you about how to apply for the program. And if not, we'll still give you some great advice. And for everyone else, you can get a ton of free resources over at travelschool.com. We have a free resource section for those of you who are in that stuck phase or needing some extra things as you're growing. But guys, no matter what, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. And look, I'll be back next week. I'll see you then. We'll have coffee and talk travel. You guys have a great week. If you like that last video, make sure you check out all the content available to you on our channel. And I invite you to follow along, travel with me around the world as I grow and scale my travel businesses. You're gonna pick up some great tips, some great tricks on how you can grow your own travel brand too. I'm gonna drop some links down below, and also check out these videos I handpicked just for you.